Kamala Harris's election as Vice President-elect, that is, of the United States, an important development on so many fronts. Not only is she the first woman to rise to that position, but she's also the first black woman and the first South Asian person. Now, her historic achievement was underscored by Harris herself, in fact, on Saturday, when she told supporters she may be the first, but she will not be the last. Now, the aspirations of American minorities emerged as a key campaign issue during this presidential election in the U.S. Let's continue that discussion now with Subha Barry. She is a leading diversity expert. She's also president of Working Mother Media, and she joins us now live from New York. Subha, thank you so much for joining us on what is a late Sunday evening for you, early Monday morning for us here in South Africa. Your reaction to what's unfolded in the U.S. over the past few days?
Well, we are so excited. Thank you again for having me on your site. I'm delighted to share our views. We are celebrating. We are so excited because, you know, you have the saying, if you cannot see it, you cannot be it. So in the United States, we are so excited and proud to have, as you said, not just the first woman, but also the first black woman, the first woman of Indian American heritage from South Asia. All of these things really bring so much joy. And she is a confident, successful, powerful woman who has actually made her voice heard. And we have cheered her along all the way.
And I mean, the first child of immigrants as well. Immigration was such an incredibly important touch point in the election, in the run-up to the election on both sides. And here we are, Vice President-elect, the child of immigrants.
It's absolutely fantastic. And it's not just for the diverse population in the United States, but it is a powerful message around the world about what is possible.
Subha, I want to talk to you about, so much is being said about what this means for healing the divisions in the U.S. in terms of especially Kamala Harris's election as vice president following on from Donald Trump. And I get the sense that we were in the same position when Barack Obama was elected. It was the first black president in the United States. It was going to be an opportunity for change, an opportunity for healing, addressing the vast and deep racial issues in the U.S., and then Donald Trump was elected.
Well, I think you need to take a look at how this election played out. Almost 70 million people voted for Donald Trump. So you call out how, Biden had the largest, vote of any president in the history of this country. The second most number of votes were received by Donald Trump. So there is something to be said about when Barack Obama was elected president. I was actually in Hong Kong at a conference, and I thought to myself, we have shattered that racial glass ceiling when we elected him to be our president. And what I thought was, we would have this incredible period of really coming together, acknowledging how powerful, successful, incredibly thoughtful and supportive somebody that was a Barack Obama could be to all the people in this country. But what was sad about it was it also brought up some of those deep-rooted systemic racist issues in this country. They had just gone underground. They had not gone away. And with Donald Trump's presidency, we have had 4 years in which, individuals, young people in this country, corporate leaders in this country have all stepped up to do their part, to say, if the government and our president isn't going to take a lead on it, we will. And that is really something that, in my opinion, is where this healing will come. And, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are exactly the right leaders, the right president and the right vice president for these times. Because we do need somebody that is going to speak the way Joe Biden did about bringing everybody together. He said, I'm not just a president for those people that voted for me. I'm a president for all Americans. And I think that that tone, that message of kindness, of inclusion, is going to be powerful and very, very needed, because we have to keep in mind that almost 70 million people voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked earlier about the importance of our children seeing people who look like them doing incredible things so that they know what's possible. It made me think of the issue around what an American family looks like. And Kamala Harris herself is a mom in a blended family. That as well is an important thing for people to see as an American family. It's an important development that someone like Kamala Harris and her husband, Doug Emhoff, that they have this blended family, and it's as wonderful a family as any.
But that is the reality of what America is. You know, America is no longer this sort of typical model family that you saw in the 60s and 70s. You really are now looking at biracial families are becoming increasingly commonplace. The next generation of young people, the millennials and the next Gen Zs, are really showing us, you know, that they do not see those differences the way the previous generations did.
Yeah.
So the ability for having what we used to call mixed marriages. I'm married to a white man in this country, and 17 years before we got married, you know, it was still illegal to have marriage across races, which is shocking to me. Shocking.
Yeah.
So I think that you're seeing a sort of a new transformation in this country. And you've called it the browning of America, as you have had an increasing number of immigrants come from the Latin American countries across the border to the United States. You know, the black population was already here. You now have what you have, not just the South Asians, but you also have Asians as well as the Latinx. So this is truly, this country is a melting pot. And in my opinion, Kamala Harris so much represents that melting pot.
Yeah.
She personally symbolizes it, who she married into, and the children she's helping raise in that family are all emblematic of that.
So much healing now that needs to take place in the US, Subha, but it's going to take at least until the 20th of January. There's still litigation that Donald Trump is insisting on the basis that the election, according to him, has been stolen. You know, in the run-up to these elections, news broadcasters like ourselves around the world talking about the real possibility of civil unrest. If we look at that, along with the number of people, as you say, who voted for Trump in these elections, what's the sense you're getting of the mood, at least where you are in the US?
I have to tell you, I'm in the Northeast, and I'm actually in Pennsylvania in a town called New Hope. And Pennsylvania, as you know, my vote counted. So we were the ones that sort of brought Joe Biden and Kamala Harris over the finish line. And while this litigation is happening, I was really looking at the statistical odds of this being overturned, and they are so very slim that it is highly unlikely. And I think that Joe Biden's words and his tone of healing, of bringing people together, talking about moving forward with focusing on the issues that are important to all Americans. How do we fight the COVID virus? It's top of mind. How do we provide support for families that have lost jobs? You know, doing that is top on the list of priorities. So I really believe that with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris starting to talk about these issues that are important to all Americans, you are going to start to see that healing begin long before the 20th of January, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I am not seeing the unrest. We are not hearing about it. And I know that there are, you know, obviously out of the 70 million people that voted for Donald Trump, there's a large number of them that are probably, you know, willing to accept the verdict. The democracy in this country spoke loud and clear. The process, the way people voted, the way people stepped up to send in mailed-in ballots early, all of the work that went in really showed us that this was a country that was determined to get its voice heard. Every individual, every single vote really showed that people wanted to be involved in this democratic process. And I truly believe that there is a bigger message, a bigger picture, where people want to get back to, the America that used to be, that was economically successful, where joblessness was at an all-time low and the economy was growing robustly. And I believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will bring us back to that.
Yeah, another important message from Biden there. The fact that we are opponents doesn't mean that we are enemies. Subha, thanks very much for your time this morning, speaking to us there live in New York. Subha Barry is a leading diversity expert. She's also president of Working Mother Media. We continue to unpack the story around the US election.